for a few years. But I think that it's a really valuable conversation to open up to people, is the journey from, our generations were kind of, a lot of us, 1 in 3 children in America are growing up without their father right now. And a lot of us grew up without our fathers, and yet a lot of our generation is stepping into fatherhood. A lot of my friends are having children, and I think we didn't have very many healthy models of that. And the models that we saw growing up, like Homer Simpson and Al Bundy, and now like Family Guy and American Dad, are just not necessarily models to follow. So that's why I've asked you and Scott and Tom and other men to come and talk about your journey from being a son, because I think a lot of people need to understand that it's different people come into this with different experiences. So your journey from being a son to then what it took and what your transformation was to be able to not do what a lot of our fathers did, which was kind of just disappear. And so I guess that's like really the intention behind these conversations.
Well, it's awesome, Noah. It truly is, and you're right. It's incredibly important right now. And so I'm honored to be part of this, because the greatest gift in my life right now, and I can say that I have a very blessed life, but is being a father. I have a 2.5-year-old son and another son on the way that will be here in March. And it's been amazing to be able to give my boy, and soon my boys, what I didn't receive. My father was not around also, and pretty much my mom and he had a fling, and she got pregnant, and neither one of them wanted a child. Well, my mom had 3 grown ones already, and so she didn't want a 4th. And so, but I was determined to come, and so that I could be here with people like you as an adult now, and talk about these circumstances, because it really is something that's has created major issues within our culture and within our societies, because we have a lot of even the men that were raised with their fathers, the kind of connection and communication relationship that they had, these men are now in power, running our country, trying to somehow fill this void of not having enough attention from daddy, or having the right kind of sensitivity lessons in their life, and so men have been very, for the most part, there are a lot of really, really great men out there. And I even want to say that my father's a great man. We're great friends right now, and we reconnected when I was in he was always around, but I would see him once every 2 years or so. And quite honestly, he was a drinker. I would see him, we lived nearby, between his favorite bar. And so I would see him sometimes when he was too drunk to drive home. He would crash at our house, and that's when I would see my dad. And he paid the price. He paid the price, and is such an incredible grandfather now, and such an incredible father. But I think he'll die with the regret. No matter what I say to him, how much I do my best to convince him that his role was absolutely what I needed so I could be the man that I am today, there's still this sense of incompleteness that he carries, because he knows that he wasn't there with his son. And I think a lot of fathers, which is probably what your father's going through, he can't go back and make up for that time. But our work as the orphans, quote unquote, so to speak, is to understand that these things don't happen to us. Fathers don't go away as something that's meant to punish us, but there's a reason that everything happens. I believe that life happens for us and not to us. So I'm a victim of nothing, and of no one. And so I thank your father for not being there for you, so that you could do the work that you're now doing on this planet to help so many people. And oddly, that's the way it works out.
Yeah, and I think that's what our, you know, what you said about your father may never, in a way, your father may never be able to forgive himself.
Yeah.
And I very much see that our generations are saying we are going to be present because family is actually the most important. It's the foundation. It's the center, the foundation of everything. Perhaps even the environmental and the political crisis is healthy families.
Absolutely.
So can you share a little bit about your journey of
Girl, how I love you, I can't love myself. Stay out